Hi Power Queens, welcome to another episode of Power Queens. Today's topic is Bump the Cheese Up, and I'm sitting here with the gorgeous, amazing, lovely Mapalo. Thank you for coming on the show and welcome.
Thank you so much, Thandi.
It's a pleasure.
Amazing to be here.
I'm so stoked that you're here. And yeah, it's just awesome to finally get to meet you. I've been following you for quite some time, and I really am blown away by what you do.
So you're part of the drive?
Yes, I am.
Whoa,
yes,
nice.
I am. Yes, I
nice.
am. And I can't wait for your book launch as well. I'm very excited about that.
I'm so excited. I'm so freaking excited. You have no idea.
We will get into that.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll get into
so,
it.
for people that don't know you, how would you describe yourself? Who is Mapalo? Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? What kind of individual are you?
You know what? So to begin with, Mapalo Makhu. I grew up in Lesotho with both my parents and siblings. You know, like just a normal upbringing,
Yes.
right? And I decided I would study finance after having read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know it sounds corny, but that's when I realized that there is a world of finance and investments out there.
Yes.
And initially I was meant to study media studies at Rhodes University. Then I was like, okay, I changed completely. I was like, you know what, I am going to study a finance degree. So that's where it started.
Oh my gosh. So where in Lesotho did you grow up? Because I know everyone is like Maseru.
No,
you know, that's
I
all
was
the
about to
common
say,
places.
like, no, not there. From a place called Maputo, literally just by the Fixback border.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And what really drove you to get into the industry that you're in, which is particularly finance?
Like I said, you know, I was an average student in high school. Like I said, I thought I was going to do media studies or copyright, which is kind of funny because now I get to write a lot. You know, I think it's, you know, things happen in a way that, you know, we come full circle almost, right? So, like I said, I've always just loved reading. I thought, you know, I'm going to do something in the media or arts or, you know, writing, something along those lines. And I used to read a lot of books, but nothing about money, nothing about finance, nothing about business. So in a gap year, so in 2006, I'm kind of old. How old am I? Am I giving away my age? So I couldn't go to varsity because, I mean, my parents decided to have 4 kids and they could not send all 3 of us to varsity at the same time. So I had to take a breather. And in that year, but it was a gap year, involuntary gap year, basically. Yeah. That's when I started reading all those books that I had never read before. You know, I started reading about finance. I was like, what world is this? You know. Then, like literally, like I said, for me, the book that just changed it for me was Rich Dad Poor Dad, because I was like, wow, you know. Yeah, so from then on, I completely changed. I said, you know what, I'm going to study something in finance, something that has investments, something that has financial planning, so that I know how to manage money and I can teach other people.
Yes.
Then I started, obviously that book led me to reading other similar books, so by Susie Oman.
Oh, she's awesome.
She is awesome. Although sometimes I don't agree fully with some of her methods.
Oh, really?
No, I have my opinion. You know, but definitely I learned a lot from her. So yeah, that's when I completely changed and I said, you know what, this is what I want to do for a living. So I mean, I was 17, 18 when I decided, you know what, I want to learn how money works and I want to teach people how money works.
And that is so important because unfortunately for us as Black people, we didn't always grow up being taught about money, the value of money. You know, we didn't really have an understanding of it, unfortunately, because of, you know,
Yeah. I mean, our history is pretty messed up. Our history is pretty messed up. But even today, people still don't talk about money.
Yes.
You know, you find even middle class families or people who are well off.
Yes.
They still don't talk about money with their children.
Yes.
You know, so where do you expect kids to learn about money from? You know, I always say, you know, we go to varsity. One studies medicine, one studies economies to become an economist or whatever it is that you'll be studying. But the common thread is that we all have to deal with money.
Exactly.
And no one teaches money.
Yes.
Like, that is the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we introduce it in schools? And that's why people are in debt. People are suffering. People are
Living beyond their means.
beyond their means. People just don't understand simple money concepts.
And talking about simple money concepts,
Yeah.
this might be obviously something that you as a professional in this industry find that this might be a stupid question, but there are
Nothing
people
is
out
like-
here,
nothing
nothing is a
like
stupid
it.
question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between saving and investing?
Yeah. So saving, you are saving to consume.
Okay.
Okay? You're saving to consume this money at some point. So you know that you're not going to be using credit card overdraft. It's money, it's cash, but you are going to consume. Investment, on the other hand, is making your money work for you. So you're not consuming it tomorrow, you're not consuming it 2 years later. You are literally saying, you know what, it's going to earn compound interest so that I can live off that compound, or it's going to make me more money so I can really just get to enjoy my life.
Because I think people get confused between the two.
Yeah,
Some think
yeah.
that if they're saving, they're investing.
Yeah, actually, you know, one of the videos that I did with a friend of mine, she said, you know, no, I have an investment with my bank. I'm like, it's not an investment.
That's actually
It's not an
something
investment,
that I
it's a
also want to
saving.
ask you about.
It's a saving.
Because I really don't know what the difference is.
Yeah.
What is it? How would you, for someone who is clueless,
Yeah.
does not know a thing about money, is trying to get a better
Yes.
understanding of how to invest, how to grow their money. What are the starting points for someone who is
Get
really
out
now
of
trying
debt.
to turn their life
Number
around?
one, get out of debt if you have debt. So I send out my newsletter almost every week, right? And one of the things that I had sent out, I think a couple of weeks ago, was saying debt is stealing from you. You know, when you have debt, it is stealing from you because you cannot effectively save. You cannot, you know, how you know, you're just thinking, goodness,
Yes.
you know, yeah, debt costs money. So the first thing I always say, by all means, try to live a debt-free life. Of course, I'm not saying go pay off your house today. You can if you can, but you know, I'm talking about overdraft, personal loans, credit card, that type of debt. You know, store clothing accounts, like things that you shouldn't even have. You know, so try to get out of debt. That's the first thing. The second thing, save for an emergency. Okay, because I do not know anyone who has never not had an emergency.
Exactly.
Okay, that's why they're called emergencies. And you know, the funny thing about not having an emergency fund, even if you don't have debt, the probability that you'll fall back into debt because of an emergency is that much high, you know. Then of course start saving. You know, I believe that money should be enjoyed. I really do. I mean, I love shoes.
Same.
I love shoes. I love a short left. I love a holiday, you know. So just make sure that it's cash. You know, don't go on holiday on a credit card. I mean, come on. You know, so save for the things that you do want. Save for that holiday. Save for, I don't know, whatever it is that you want. Just make sure that you use your own cash.
Yes.
You know, that you don't owe anyone at the end of this. Because you know, one thing I've realized, you can get a new pair of shoes, or you can go on that holiday, and that joy sometimes will wear off. You know, the novelty of that piece of clothing or that car wears off, and if you've done it through credit, you don't have that joy anymore. But you're still looking at this thing and you're like, damn it, you know, like I'm driving around with this thing and there are so many people, you know. So make sure that you do use cash, and the joy becomes so much more. Then start investing. So investing really is, you know, also the way I look at investing is I'm investing so that I do not have to work a day extra.
Yes.
Because my money would have been working for me, right? So you know, when people think about investing, they always, you know, the first question they'll always ask you, how much interest am I going to earn? I'm like, then you haven't really differentiated between saving and investing.
Yeah, that's a great point,
right? Because people are used to their banks giving them, oh no, you're going to get 10%, you're going to get 6% interest. With investing, you don't know. You really don't know. When you invest, you have to look at your goal. What goal am I investing for? Is it for retirement? is it that so one of my goals is in when my son turns 15, we're gonna go to Disney. Hopefully, he'll still want to go, and we're going to blow money, like literally. So it's one of the investments that I do have in place that we are going to blow it, like
And I think the real thing here, obviously, is to basically plan ahead.
Yeah.
Because I think some people invest just for the sake of investing.
Hit the nail on the head.
But like you say, they really don't know why they're investing and what they're going to invest in future.
Yes.
So it's lack of planning there.
Yeah, lack of planning, lack of just having some clear goals to what do I want?
Yeah.
What do I want? What is the goal here? So I always say start with a goal in mind. But even if you don't have a goal, because someone actually said, you know what, Mapalo, I don't have like a specific goal, but I want to start. So for me, the point is just start.
Yeah.
Start, then you'll figure out the goal.
The rest, yes.
But hopefully you do have a goal. So I always say the easiest thing, just go for an exchange traded fund. Go for an exchange traded fund. Go for something that is low cost. You have different platforms that offer exchange traded funds, but I always want something that's inexpensive, something that's easy. Start there. A lot of the times people want to start with shares, properties, and all of sorts of things. Then they find it overwhelming. Then they don't start.
Yes. Because the goal is too big.
Exactly. Or even when they get there, they don't know where to start, what to choose. So start, just pace yourself.
Yes.
Pace yourself.
And then let's talk about credit scores. Yes. I know a lot of majority of South Africans, you'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Have terrible or bad credit scores
because they are not paying their debts.
Because they're not paying debts, right? And I know that a lot of them don't know what a credit score even is.
Yeah, true.
What you need to do to increase your credit score, to improve it. So these are, for me, this conversation is really like for people who are just really trying to, just the basics, just a starting point. What is a credit score? What can a person do to improve their credit score? Why should they improve their credit score?
Thandi, it's so important. I remember, when I started Women in Finance, I thought, but who's going to listen to me? These are basic stuff, and I realized I was taking for granted what I know. And there are so many more people who still need to be empowered. So many more people still need to learn this stuff.
People really don't know.
Exactly.
People get to a point where they're working human beings and they still don't know.
Way into adulthood, a lot of people still don't know these things. And for me, that's really why I'm so inspired to do what I do every day.
I love it.
Because I realize that the basic stuff is still needed. So a credit score really is just your behavior, your financial behavior, your past financial behavior. So for example, if you wanted to buy a car or a house and you didn't have cash, as most people don't, it's quite a big purchase. You'd go to a bank and say, hey, Standard Bank, FNB, or whatever bank you're going to, I need a loan to buy this, either house or car, right, for example. So they say, okay, we are willing to give you a loan, but let's take a look at your financial behavior.
Your history.
Let's look at your history, okay? So that informs two things. One, do they give you that loan, yes or no? And secondly, if they do give you a loan, at what interest rate, right? So an interest rate is something that a bank charges you because they are lending you money.
Yes.
Right? There's nothing for free, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're trying to make money, and that's how banks make money. So if your credit score, if, for example, you miss payments, you don't pay on time, there's been judgments on your name, there's, if your finances are a bit of a mess, it does show in the credit score. If your finances are great, it shows in your credit score as well. And one of the frustrating things that people find is, even I experienced this myself when I started, trying to build up, is that banks want some sort of a history of behavior of you having credit, right? And so people are like, but why do I have to get in debt to?
Yes, because
to access credit.
Thank you, because you're often told that you've never taken out a personal loan.
Yeah.
So to increase or to improve your score, you need to have some sort of debt.
Yeah. So normally I say, you know what, Maybe do have a credit card, but put it to a very minimum limit. Use it, but then pay it back. You know, they just want to see that you do pay on time.
Yeah.
You pay your obligations on time. There are no issues. You don't default. That sort of thing. It really is just a reflection of how you've handled money in the past couple of months or whatever it is. So you can do that. But what tends to happen is that a lot of people get that credit card, they max it out, they pay the minimum, it just doesn't look good. So it does require a bit of discipline and knowing why you're taking out that type of credit.
Yes.
Okay. So if your credit score, the banks look at it and say, oh, your credit score is fantastic, they will give you the loan, and your interest rate then can be lower. So meaning that the debt doesn't cost you as much. But now, if you go there and it's a mess, it's a complete mess, they will charge you interest rate, like a high interest rate that, you know, it can be quite a lot. It can be quite a lot. And then it makes the debt just much more expensive.
And how soon or how early do you think kids can start being taught about money? And for me, I don't know. I think that kids should not only be taught about the basics about money, but I do believe in the world that we're living in today, tough economic times and, you know, cost of living is so high and all that. Do you think that it is appropriate for kids to know about such terminology, credit scores, investments, saving, interest rates, you know, all that? Because I've always believed that it is important. But I don't know, some people think it's too much for a child. Like, at what age do you think that kids can start being taught this?
I actually don't know, hey? I really don't know. And I often ask myself, and I see articles going around, and I read articles, different viewpoints on this, right? But I think, you know, our kids are unlimited, and their learning potential is unlimited. My child is 4 years old, and literally already I'm starting to talk to him, like I will have Bloomberg on TV, you know, while he's there. Because I don't know how much information he's consuming, because they're learning all the time. They're learning all the time. And things that you can do explicitly, having a money box at home, you know, talking about money, you know, like, okay, if you want something, okay, so literally this is what I do. He's 4 years old. So I this is what I say to him. I'm like, we earn it, we invest it, then we spend it.
That's brilliant.
Literally, he's 4 years old.
Brilliant.
And when he sees money, I say, big boy, what do? We earn it, we invest, spend. You know, like he can't even, I know he doesn't understand, but he will. They have unlimited learning potential.
Yes.
We are the ones who keep on putting blocks and saying, no, but he's at this age. I'm like, as soon as you can, like, it doesn't have to make sense.
Yes.
But they will get it.
Yes.
You know.
I agree.
Like I said, there's Bloomberg going on. I watch CNBC. There's Channel 412. They'll be talking about stocks. Somehow I believe that message is permeating through him right now.
Absolutely.
You know, how much of it he's consuming it, I don't know.
Yes.
But I really believe as soon as you can, just start.
Yes.
Just start.
And what about us ladies? For women that are now getting into a marriage, because I know sometimes with us women we become very impulsive because we're so taken by love and romance, and we're thinking I'm going to be with this man for life, and he's got my back, and so on and so forth.
Look, honey boo boo, I am married.
You know, you know, and I know this is going to sound so controversial,
say it.
but I have to say it.
Yes.
Because nowadays with
Say
social media,
it's
about like the man must just take care of me. He must buy the Louis for me and take me to Dubai.
That?
Yeah.
He must take care of me. Like, okay.
There are women who actually don't believe in working. They believe that it's the man's job to take care. And to a certain extent, I understand that. But for me, I feel like it's so important for women to be financially independent. So what like a woman that's now entering marriage, what advice would you give them in terms of making sure that they've got some money, you know, and they're protected financially?
Yeah, that is so important. And you know, for me, I don't judge any situation. I've done coaching with people who do get taken care of. I've done coaching with single moms. I've done coaching, you know, like whatever situation you're in, I don't care, as long as when you know you will be financially secure with or without.
Yes.
For me, that's the most important part. You know, whatever situation, do
because
you?
Couples, especially
you know,
black
that's
people,
amazing.
they get so scared to talk about money, you know, and it's important.
It's very important. Your women's financial security, because you don't want to be in a situation when you don't even want to be in it anymore. Like you're forced to be in it because now you can't take care of yourself financially.
And now you're asking for money.
No, you know. So whatever situation you're in, that's perfect. It's fine, but make sure that you are financially secure. And if we're going to talk about marriage, the first thing, marital contracts.
Yes.
Just let's start there, okay? People think, oh no, you know, I don't want to get married out of community of property. Then it means I don't love you. I'm like, in today's age, you're still getting married in community of property, girl.
But why do people find that offensive?
You know, okay. So first of all, community of property is the default marital regime in South Africa. So you don't have to pay a lawyer. You don't have to go see a lawyer. You literally just show up and you sign and you're done married in community of property. Getting married out of community of property, you first, even before the day you sign at Home Affairs or the day you're signing at your wedding day,
you
first have to go see a lawyer. So that takes action from your side.
Yes.
It takes a planning, it takes knowledge.
Yes.
And sometimes really it's not because people just want to get married in community of property, but they don't know that you actually have to first, before you get married or sign at Home Affairs, you first have to go see a lawyer who can draw up a contract for you, an anti-nuptial contract. So you can either get married out of community of property with accrual or without accrual, right? So without accrual, it's like, you know what? And you know, when I explain it, people are like, it sounds so harsh. Like, what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. I'm married out of community of property, but we still manage our finances together, right? So one of the things about getting married in community of property, if the other person is in debt and they are, you know, like life is just in shambles financially, it means that your life has to go down as well.
Thank you.
You know, so for me also getting married out of community of property is we are going to protect one another.
Yes.
So if your assets are being attached or, you know, you went into business and things didn't work out and now they're coming for all your assets, whatever I have bought, at least that part of the family can still be sustainable.
That is a brilliant way to look at it.
Exactly.
I love the way that you're putting it into perspective, because you're right. People do see it as, oh, so you don't really love me. You plan on leaving me. So that's actually a brilliant way to maybe open up the conversation.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. So don't be afraid to have those conversations. And also, you know, I mean, we went for marriage counseling, you know, at church because, you know, we needed to get married.
Yeah.
And the priest just made the assumption like, yeah, you guys are getting married in community of property. And I love you, Jesus, but I lied. I was like, yeah, just so that we can get it done. But I was like, oh, hell no. We are not getting married in community of property. There is no way.
Yes.
Not in 2019.
You're right.
Well, not back then even.
Oh, absolutely.
So just don't be afraid to have those conversations. Also, truly speaking, sometimes it's the women. You know, the women are like, oh my gosh, no, then you don't love me. Why don't you want to get married and community of property? But at the same time, you know, you do find that, you know, according to your situation, maybe you guys decide that, you know what, as the wife, you will be a caretaker, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
You know, your options are your options, and that's why they are there. So should things not work out and you were the caretaker and you left your career, also getting married in community of property protects you because then you walk away with something.
True.
You know, so there's that. But I think for that specifically, you can get married out of community of property with accrual, because the accrual part says whatever we accumulate together while we're married can be split in half. But we are different entities when it comes to debt and all sorts of things.
That's a good one.
So definitely that does offer some protection, because the thing I wouldn't want to ask women, no, don't get married, get married out of community
because
of property.
people's marriages, the dynamics are also different.
Exactly.
Okay.
But so for me, it's read through the different types of contracts and find one that can work for you, because you know your situation better than me, who's just dishing up you know, the information.
Yes.
You know, you know your husband, you know your partner, you know this person. So make sure that that contract works for you. Not the other person, for you.
Yes. Absolutely. And let's talk women in finance. That is a very exciting topic.
Yes.
Where to from here? Any plans in the near future? Book launch?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
please share.
So I have written a book called You're Not Broke, You're Pretty Rich, right? And literally it's all these concepts that we've just discussed and so much more. And the whole idea, so first of all, I must say, people always ask me, so how did you get a book deal? What's the process like? I literally took the took my car for a service. I opened up my email while they were still busy, and there was an email from Penguin Publishing House.
Really?
To say, can you write a book? And
Penguin?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, when I got the email, I thought they wanted me to write an ebook. Because remember, I gave a free ebook on my website like 2-3 years ago, and I thought, okay, they want. And when I met the guy, he's like, no, we're saying a book. I'm like, as in a book, hard copy that's going to get sold in
stores.
Yeah. He's like, I was like, oh, okay.
That's a power queen move right there. That's a power queen move right there.
That's a power queen move. And I'm so thankful, I'm really so thankful
that
because,
is amazing.
I always knew that one day I'll write a book.
Yes.
But it's amazing how God works and how the universe works. Sometimes you think, oh no, things will happen in the future, but...
And you know what it also is?
Yeah.
For all the ladies listening out there?
Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
Thandi, actually, that's another thing. I was talking to someone who just DM'd me and said, hey, I've followed you throughout. I love what's happening in your life, those type of stuff. And, so I like sending voice notes because they're just quicker. It's like, I'm not going to type.
Yeah.
If I'm responding to you, it'll probably be a voice note.
Yeah.
It's just much quicker. And we're just sending each other voice notes back and forth, right? And she's like, yeah, I just want to work smart. I'm like, work smart? Guys, like, also, there's something about social media. They throw around these quotes, this wonderful motivational stuff and whatnot. They're relevant, but it really just boils down to, especially when you're starting, you have to work.
Yeah.
Full stop. Like,
it's not easy.
Like, people
it's
say,
not
no,
easy.
don't work hard, work smart. I'm like, I'm sure there comes a point when you do work smart, but in the beginning, you have
like
to
a slave.
Work. Yeah. Just work.
Yeah.
Work.
And also you have to keep the faith.
Yes. You have to keep on knocking on doors. You have to keep on knocking on doors. You have to keep putting yourself out there, So there's no other way. You have to work.
It's true.
You have to work,
Yeah.
So I wrote the book, and now it's coming out now in October, literally just a month. So funny enough, it went to print last Thursday.
Really?
I was like, I couldn't believe it. I've done all the work. It was back and forth with the editing. It was quite a lot going on. Approving this, saying no to this. Literally quite a lot of back and forth with the publisher. And she sent me a message, I think on Monday. She's like, hey, so this is the final, what it's going to look like, the cover and the back. And we are going on print on Thursday. Wow. I was like, what? I actually wrote a book.
That is huge. That is really huge. And I really, 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 really am inspired by everything that you do. And I'm definitely, I will.
You coming to the book launch?
Oh,
I
yes.
hope.
I will definitely be there.
Yeah. So it will probably be either at Santin Exclusive Books or Mall of Africa.
I can't wait.
And I cannot wait to have you there.
I can't wait. I can't wait to be there, and I will continue supporting you.
Yay.
So we've come to the end of the show, but before we leave,
yes,
I would like to ask you the question that I always ask my guests.
Oh, okay.
That is, in your words, how would you describe a power queen?
A power queen. Ooh, okay. I should have maybe prepared for this one. A power queen. I think, a lot of the times when you are a power queen or becoming one, you don't really define yourself as one. But every day you take steps and action that moves you closer to what you want to achieve. And sometimes really it just means overcoming your fears and just saying, you know what, I will take action. I will take action. I'll be persistent. I will take action. I will be courageous. Like literally every single day, just putting yourself out there a little bit more. If you thought you were working hard yesterday, just put in 1 extra hour. You know, if you send out your profile to one person, send it out to 2 people the following day. But literally it is action. Like being a power queen is about action and just keep on going.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. Like there's you know, I was hoping that, you know, it would sound more eloquent, more glamorous, but literally it's just keep on working, keep on going for your dreams, keep on knocking on doors. You just need to start. You need to start. Things don't need to be perfect. You know, that's a queen. Someone who just keeps on going regardless of, you know, all the challenges that will come about. Because challenges, like, that's a given, they will come about. But you just need to keep on going. That's a queen.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And as a token of my appreciation for coming on the show, I would like to give you a sparkling wine hamper, proudly sponsored by my partner, Four Cousins. So
thank you, Four Cousins.
We
love you.
I hope you enjoy it. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been awesome. It has been a great experience, and I hope all the ladies will really take in everything that you have said, because I've definitely learned a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna probably keep learning from you.
Absolutely.
So thank you for coming on the show.
And, you are so lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.